Hello everyone, it's March 11th, another cloudy winter day here in Seoul. I'm Sun Ji-ae, and these are your top stories. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin will visit Seoul next week to discuss coordination on North Korea and other issues. The trip will be a part of their first Asia swing since President Joe Biden took office. Both are scheduled to meet their Korean counterparts, Blinken to discuss inter-Korean affairs and the bilateral alliance, while Austin is expected to assess the latest security developments on the peninsula. The two also plan to visit President Moon Jae-in. The visit comes as the Biden administration is formulating its stance towards North Korea and ways to advance the stalled denuclearization talks. Seoul officials say during the visit, the two allies are expected to discuss peninsula-specific issues, such as when South Korea will reclaim its wartime operational command from the U.S., but also their joint position on tackling global issues such as climate change and cyber threats. South Korea is reportedly open to discussions about joining a U.S.-led regional security forum dubbed the Quad, a top presidential official told reporters. South Korea agreed to increase its share of the cost of stationing U.S. troops on the Korean peninsula by 13.9% this year, ending a prolonged process that some said undermined the alliance. Seoul's foreign ministry released a statement saying the two countries demonstrated the robustness of the firm alliance by addressing this key issue early on after the launch of the Biden administration. The two sides had been at odds over how to share the cost of keeping 28,000 American troops in South Korea. Former President Donald Trump reportedly demanded that Seoul increase its share by up to 5 times. Negotiations dragged on for a year and a half but made progress after President Biden took office. According to the new deal, South Korea will pay $1 billion this year. From next year through 2025, Seoul will increase its portion annually at the same rate it boosts its defense budget. In a report submitted to the UN Human Rights Council, South Korea was prompted to include human rights issues in future negotiations with North Korea. The UN Special Rapporteur on North Korean human rights, Thomas Ohea Quintana, said future economic humanitarian cooperation with the North should guarantee a human rights framework. The rapporteur also called on Seoul to implement the North Korean Human Rights Act, which passed the National Assembly in 2016. The act stipulates the establishment of a North Korea Human Rights Foundation. In an earlier report to the UNHRC, the rapporteur had highlighted severe consequences, including deaths by starvation and drastic decline in trade and commerce brought on by North Korea's severe measures to contain COVID-19. The UNHRC is expected to adopt a resolution later this month that denounces North Korean human rights breaches and calls for responsibilities. And those were your top stories. Stay safe, everyone, and remember to subscribe to Korea Now. Sun Ji-ae out.